Yeah, this your boy Drumma Boy, aka D Boy Fresh, and you watching World Music Views. We beneficial. Hey, yeah.
Nice, nice,
Saying
nice. So I see you doing big things. Let's start with this. What was the idea behind you proposing at the stadium?
the idea of me proposing at the stadium, man, my Memphis Grizzlies was in town. And everybody was talking about, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got no Ja Morant. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing with Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a good game to support my home team. I'm from Memphis. A lot of people think I'm from Atlanta. So it was a good moment for a lot of my Memphians who were in the building to share that moment with me. I've been in Atlanta over 20 years. So, you know, it's a lot of people here who were able to share that moment with me as well, man. It was like a big family reunion, a lot of support, a lot of love, a lot of positivity, and Memphis won the game. So
That's nice. That's nice. I realize Memphis is on the map for hip hop right now. Before like I remember when it was on the 3 6 Mafia who had some
A-Ball MJG. Can't forget A-Ball
yeah,
MJG.
yeah, MJG as well. Yeah, I'm not leaving off. But now you got the rapper that died, Dolph. You got Yo Gotti, you, a bunch of people. How did rap start to penetrate the Memphis scene?
Memphis rap penetrated the Memphis scene from an underground scene. They called our music the underground. You know, so you know, you going back to the SMKs, the Gangsta Pats, the DJ Spanish Flies. You know what I mean? Man, I can't even think of my boy name. Man, Player Fly, Gangsta Black. You know, it's so much legendary rap. Tommy the Third. You know what I mean? There's so many people who you or the people watching this might not be familiar with. You know, a lot of the people who made it, they had to travel to other cities to really get those deals. Because the only people we had in Memphis was Selecto Hits, which was an independent distribution company at the time. They would press up CDs, cassettes, vinyls, and get them in the local region. The good thing about Memphis is that we are a tri-state region. So you get spins in Memphis, Tennessee, you also reach Mississippi, you also reach Arkansas. So you reach 3 states just by spins in one city. So a lot of our music will still get out there and stretch to Texarkana, into Texas and whatnot. And that's how guys like Ball and G bumped into Tony Draper and Suave House. You know, Ball's first platinum album was Lost, his solo album. So that was big coming out of the city. Like, man, he went platinum. To say you went platinum then, you actually was selling records. It was different from now, no streaming. So, you know, that was a pretty big deal to see, you know, Ball go platinum. It was a big deal to see Gangsta Boo, R.I.P. One of the first biggest female rappers in the South, you know, and to see her go gold, to have a gold album, to be one of the members of 3 6 Mafia, to hold her own, you know. But 3 6 Mafia they deal with Loud, and you know what I mean, and had deals in New York and whatnot. Same for Kia Shine. Rap Hustlers, when he signed Yo Gotti, Player Fly, Gangsta Black, put everybody under one umbrella, did his deal through New York. So a lot of the guys that you know, even myself, back and forth to Atlanta, New York, California, that's why the world knows us, because we went outside of Memphis. You gotta, I tell everybody from their hometown, you gotta move outside of your city. You keep your foundation, you build your name, but you gotta get outside of your city. And everywhere I go, I'm throwing up that M.
Is it? I realize that trap music has taken over the world. Every country has their own trap music, including Jamaica. Sweden has trap music. There's a trap in every section of America. But where would you say trap was born?
Um,
And
I
what
think
is trap?
trap was really born from the government, honestly. Like, you got to look at the way and the lifestyle of what we were forced to live coming out of slavery, not being given job opportunities, people burning down our businesses, burning down our establishments, burning down cities. You know, black wealth was a thing that we're used to, you know, and to be stripped of everything and have to start all over, you know, to be put in Section 8 housing and this and that, and to have projects and all of that's created from the government. You know what I mean? Trap was a location. You know, it was a lifestyle. This was poverty and getting it and turning something into nothing, turning nothing into something. So trap was a way of life, I think, and something that we were forced to do, particularly for felons, or you get locked up, you can't get no job nowhere. What I gotta do this. I gotta hustle. I gotta, this is the only thing I know how to do for some people. You know what I mean? So this is my way of life. This is my hustle. This how I get my money. But it's like a trap because it ain't really no way out. Like you either finna get killed, robbed, shot, locked up in jail. Something negative finna happen throughout the process, period. A lot of us survived through, you know, a lot of the moments. So, you know, that survival, having that story to talk about, making it's like war, just like Afghanistan and Israel. This is our war. You know what I mean? This was our war on drugs. You know what I mean? We were the refugees, as my brother Tip said. You know what I mean? Against the war on drugs. You know what I mean? And this is our story. And for me as a producer, I just saw what I saw and put that into the music. You know what I mean? And presented them beats to Gotti, presented them beats to T.I., presented them beats to Gucci, presented them beats to Jeezy. These the first 4 trap rappers I ever worked with from the beginning. You know what I mean? And able to build them up and help them create a sound for something they was already going through and helping them tell their story. Getting them in the right moment, playing the right beat at the right time, convincing some of these guys to even go to a studio. You know what I mean? For some of these guys, I had to convince them to put the music out. You know what I mean? But it's you know, helping Dolph. You know, that was like 10 years later after the Yo Gotti and Jeezy and Gucci and so on and so forth. So, you know, it's a way of life. You know what I mean? And it developed into a location, which, you know, developed into a sound, which then developed into a genre, a subgenre of hip hop.
So growing up, we all knew 2 rappers that died, Tupac and Biggie. But over the last 10 years, a lot of rappers have died, not just in America. DJs in Jamaica, in Sweden, in the UK, in the grime scene. A lot of people died that are directly connected to the music. And the same governments all over the world, they're blaming the music for the results of these artists dying. What do you say about that?
Man, everybody gonna point the finger. Everybody gonna have an opinion. When you in certain circumstances and certain situations, I'm sure if this was the other way around, your natural habitat of survival will kick in. When you at your lowest level of humanity, and then the stage of animality because you're hungry, you fucked up, you ain't got nothing to root for or hope for. You know what I mean? Like this music gave people hope. A lot of these people who in music could be doing plenty of other shit. We had to convert and help guys transition. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, a lot of these guys would be at 80%, 90% and still have those ties or that entourage or that group of guys that's from the hood that don't understand the progression that you're making and don't understand a time and place for everything, and something go down. You want everybody to be cool, and this one dude still go against the other side of the room, and something, an altercation happens, innocent people end up getting shot, this and that. You know, it's hard to control all your pit bulls. You know what I mean? All your attachments. So you got to be careful what and who you attach yourself to. You know what I mean? And still have a relationship, but figure out the distance between it, man. That's honestly you know, what I've seen, I don't blame the government. I don't blame the streets, man. It's things happen. We got to do better as a whole. We got to talk. I had an older brother who was like, man, nah, you ain't gonna do that. I saw what they were doing and might have wanted to jump in or this and that. Nah, you ain't stay with the beat machine. I'm in the trap cooking up beats, watching what's going on. I could have jumped in that car one time, might not have came back. You know what I'm saying? Bank robbery, this and that, woo, 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 all kind of stuff going on. You know what I mean? But you got to have people around you who are able to see the talent and see the money and be like, oh no, we got to protect the money. This is the superstar. This Martin Luther King. We got to protect him. This Malcolm X. We got to protect him. We got to figure out a way to protect our leaders and our people. You know what I mean? And keep dishing out positivity, man. Because the only thing that's gonna help us is education, having that information to know that we can do better. You know what I mean? So that whole question just had me all over the place just because, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's
like,
cool. You got a good answer. So let's take it to the top a little bit. I noticed you're an international DJ. You're doing hip hop. We're also working with Dexter Daps. You're also working with dancehall. What's in your brain? Like how are you going so many different places sonically as a producer?
I come from the orchestra, and then I come from a city of Memphis where we home of the blues, country, bluegrass, Afro. You know, we been on international music. We been fans of Bob Marley and reggae and just so many different forms of music. I've always studied the drum of Africa, and just huge, you know, even Memphis being the ancient capital of Egypt, and just always, you know, we had a pyramid in our city growing up. So all of this stuff would be like, damn, man, what if I've been here
Whoa,
before,
whoa,
man?
whoa.
You
Whoa.
know,
You said Memphis was the ancient capital of Egypt. Explain that.
look up the history. Look up Memphis. That's the name of the ancient capital of Egypt. Was Memphis. So that's hence why we've had the pyramid in Memphis, which is not a pro bass shop. But that was my first concert I went to. Hot Boys and Cash Money tour. They came to Memphis. They performed at the pyramid. So growing up as a kid, just, you know, knowing that, man, just the greatness of Africa, our home culture, and learning more of the percussion of the drum being the heartbeat of music. You know what I mean? The heartbeat of life. So I've always, that's what I named myself after. My grandmama gave me the ornament on the Christmas tree when I was 5 years old, the little drummer boy. So this was something that I feel like was my purpose and that I've been here to do. And I make reggae, Afro beats. I'm a piano. I make all kind of music. I got introduced through one of my good friends, Cheech, over at Video. Cheech was like, man, Dexter Daps is gonna be in town. And I didn't know who he was, but I did my research. That's one thing I do. I do my research. I listen to Spotify, listen to Apple Music, Tidal, all the music that you have out. I go to the Instagram. I'm looking at how he's doing the shows and picking the girls up at the shows. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dexter with this shit. So I got to give him something sexy for the ladies, but still to something that they can dance to and vibe to. And we ended up having an amazing relationship, man. He was in Atlanta for about a month. We ended up doing about 9, 10 songs, and 3 of them made the Vent album, which was my first #1 reggae album. I did On My Way. I did Scripture with DeVito, and I did Wi-Fi.
Wow, wow, wow. I didn't even know that. I'm usually deep in, but I haven't. Wow, I need to feature Dexter. I haven't interviewed him as yet. But
Yeah,
I like where you're going. You're a new school producer who sonically is you have taste from what I'm hearing, right? Are
yes.
are producers making the same money they made in the 90s with Timbaland and Dr. Dre?
Say that one more time. What's the question?
Are producers making the same money as producers did in the 90s? Or are they making more now? What's the value proposition of being a producer right now?
I think, man, that's a really good question. It's difficult. See, the first thing you need to know is when you get an advance, that's a loan. So your beat price like the Timberlands and the Dr. Dre's. Timberland get 250,000 for one beat. Dr. Dre get 500,000 for one beat. You still have to recoup, which in their case they putting big hits on the board, so they might recoup first month easy, no problem. They make their 500,000 back, and then they make it many more, many more, many more. And actual albums will be sold, so you have residuals, royalties, mechanicals, so on and so forth. Now, not as many albums are being sold, but the streaming is being paid, but streaming is paying pennies. So a lot of the artists in my mind today are making more of their money on shows, performances, sponsorships, touring, merchandise, brand deals, so on and so forth. On a producer side, it's still a lot of guys getting their money, like the Metros and 808 Mafia, Mustards. I'm sure a lot of these guys getting 50s, 75,000s, 100,000s and up still. You know what I mean? Because those guys gonna recoup. You know what I mean? So it just come down to, what you want to do. A lot of times you could charge 20, maybe 10, and now you got a quicker recoup time. But as long as you're a lawyer, you're publishing, your split sheets, all of the proper business in place, either way, if you make good music, you're gonna make good money. It's just that simple. So, my focus has always been on the business side. A lot of guys want to argue over who wrote what later on down the road once the song becomes big. So we do split sheets the day of, the week of, group text, communication, knowing everybody's BMI, ASCAP, IPI numbers, and so on and so forth. That's the real information that we should be focusing on.
Who's the easiest artist you've worked with? Like they're in the studio, bomb, you get by the song 2 minutes.
Oh, I gotta say Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane just fun. We get in the studio, man. He care about what you eat before you get to the studio. Hey, what we gonna eat, Drum? Hey, we gotta eat something good, man. We're not gonna be thinking or in a discomfort in the studio. You know what I mean? You don't make hits like that. You need to be full. You need to be happy. You need some weed. If you need some drink, you need some liquor. We need to invite some girls, whatever, just to have that feedback. You know what I mean? If you can make a room full of girls move in a room, you can make a move in the world. So it's little small, little things. But Gucci is super easy to work with, super fun, and he just up and go. As soon as you hear that beat, pull it up. He just go in the booth.
I heard you have your own app. So you're building your own brand, your own e-commerce platform. Tell me about that. What an app is about, where can we find it, and how does it work?
Drumma Boy, the official app. You can find it on Google Play. You can find it in the Apple Store. And it's an app, basically direct content from me. I have a podcast called Beauty and the Beats Podcast. A lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know you had a podcast. So the podcast is with me and Dime Piece. She's from Memphis as well. And we've interviewed everybody from Angie Stone to Jonte Austin, Chucky Thompson, RIP. He produced My Life for Mary J. Blige. He was a producer I respected heavily. K Michelle. And K Michelle and Dime Piece had a beef going on. So we were able to squash that beef live on the on our podcast. So we brought a lot of people together. Juicy Fruit, one of our most recent interviews. And we just interviewed her husband, Sean Williams, the #1 draft pick out of Memphis. He played a lot of different teams, you know what I mean, but repping Memphis. So we always support our city. But you can, find out all of those secrets and, even having a gallery of photos. I got my son. A lot of people didn't know I just had my son last month. So just sharing certain moments with you guys. You can also auction beats. I'm doing beat sales, so you'll be able to buy beats exclusively from me, as well as keep up with our show schedule, our drum squad record schedule, all of our artists, so on and so forth.
Wow, that sounds like you have it on Amazon, bro.
And we can go live, you know what I mean? So all the producers who want to play, or even the artists who want to play music for me and things of that nature, man, we got an option to go live right on the app. And you'll be able to live stream.
Sorry. Do you advise other artists to get their own apps?
Absolutely. It's like a website. A lot of people aren't typing in www. Even Instagram, you're not typing in www.instagram. You go into the app, Instagram. Facebook, you're not typing in www.facebook. Maybe some of us are on our computers or laptops and some of that. But for the most part, if you got an app, it just makes everything easier.
It becomes mobile.
So you still got Bank of America, Chase, all of us sign in, online banking, so on and so forth. We have the option to sign in from the computer, www. Blah, 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 or the app. And the app is just a little bit more integrative. I'm very active with my Bank of America. I'm sending Zelles, I'm sending transfers, I'm doing deposits, I'm doing, day-to-day business just right from my app. And then anything that I can't do from my app, then I'll go to you know what I mean, my online. But from the app, you can download statements, you can email statements, all that on the banking side. So my app has been just that efficient for me and my fans.
Are you an independent artist or you're signed?
I'm an independent artist. So I've always been independent. Welcome to My City, Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, The Birth of D-Boy Fresh, My Brother's Keeper. Our whole library and arsenal is independent Drum Squad records.
And you prefer that over pursuing a record deal? Because I'm sure you could get a record deal now.
I think the right thing will happen at the right time. I think what I've been doing has been practice, as well as a producer. I've been an executive producer / artist, and that has been practice and just development, being able to develop all of these artists and still have these artist development incubators going on and still working with some of the next upcoming songwriters. So I think it's enabled me to really have a ground from an A&R perspective, from a producer perspective, from management perspective, and just all angles, seeing, exactly what it takes, what money needs to be spent in the right places, who all needs to be a part of certain teams. And when it's time to go major, we'll go major. Right now, we're at a high school collegiate level, really uplifting these young guys coming out of high school, coming out of college, coming out the streets, and just keeping my ear to the streets on who's next and who's worthy.
Would you sell your catalog? Because you have an extensive catalog right now.
Never say never. Never say never. I know how much music I have. I know how much music is about to come. So I know things that you guys don't, but man, there's so much music on the way. And I could recreate catalogs forever and ever and ever. That's what we do. I feel like I've been here before. I feel like some of my catalog has been in previous existence, before record, before tape, before you could play it back. My spirit, my soul, my energy, my feet have touched the earth before. So, this is another form and fashion. You can't take it with you, but you can leave it for the fans. And I just make good music from my spirit to the world that I know can help keep us uplifted and in a mindset of hope.
I always find out whenever I talk to somebody from down south, not Miami in particular, but down south, they have a more spiritual offering, especially the artists. They come from a more spiritual place, from ATL, Memphis, Tennessee, all these places down south, traditional down south. Did your upbringing affect who you are now? Did you go to church growing up? And is that a point of reference for you, like even now in the secular music industry?
Yeah, I did growing up in church. My mom and dad divorced when they had me, so I was in two different households. From the Baptist church to my dad was in the Episcopalian church. And then even my mama going to the Unity church, like just all of the churches I've been to, I felt like I was more spiritual than religious. You know what I mean? I love the Bible. I read the Bible. I study the Bible. I read metaphors and understand messages and certain meanings. And just looking at all of these different documentaries, there's a Moses documentary, I think, on Hulu that is doing real well. Just looking at different perspectives, understandings, but just knowing that it's either two sides. It's real simple. It's either love or hate. It's either good or evil. You know what I mean? And at some point, somebody is the judge of something, the ultimate creator, whoever that may be, to the Muslim or to the Jewish community or to the Christian community or just all of these different religions. But I feel like we all come back to the same conclusion that there's one God, there's one creator, you know. So I leave it simple as that and give my gratitude and praise to the Almighty. You know, it's so many different names that we have and whatnot, but I feel like the name is so sacred that we still don't know the true name. So to not even get caught up in that, I just say the Almighty, the Most High,
Yeah.
the most.
Yo, Drumma, I like your style, man. This is a surprise for me. I thought I was going to be interviewing an arrogant rapper. But you're a deep brother, man. And I must tell you, like, I look forward to seeing your impact on the music industry because we need people like you. We need the energy that you bring. You're proposing in a stadium, which means you're pushing family. You just had a baby. You're making music from your heart. That's untouched, you know? Like no matter what happened, that's the untouched parts of you. And it's good that you're projecting that into the universe. And I could see big success coming for you, bro. Big,
Man,
big.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. You got to check out my book. I wrote a book called Behind the Hits. So I definitely want everybody to check out the book. It's on Barnes and Noble, on Amazon, all book platforms, Behind the Hits. And I'm telling stories of standing ovation, what I was going through at the time I made standing ovation, what I was going through at the time I made no hands, what was happening. You know, Gucci Man had just got out of jail and he booked the whole Patchwork studio, A room, B room, C room, every room. And everybody just popping champagne, drinking, people smoking. And Gucci was so anxious, so I had to have beats ready for Gucci. So I had a beat pack already ready, like 10 beats. And first song we did was First Day Out. And then he did Abnormal. Anything I do, abnormal, normal. Everything I do, abnormal. Okay. And then as he's doing his verse, I go in the other room, in the B room, where all my equipment set up. Waka, Lloyd Banks, Roscoe Dash, Wale, man, this room full of people. In the B room is smaller, but it's like 50 people in the B room. So it's tight. And I start making a beat while everybody talking and whatnot. End up being no hands. Cook that beat up in like 5-10 minutes in front of everybody until at first people were talking, da 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 da. By the time I finished that beat, everybody was just in there just bopping, just, you know what I'm saying? And I seen Roscoe Dash, he was like one of the few people paying attention as an artist. He had something in his head, he mumbling something in his head. I'm like, go in the booth. You know what I'm saying? First words come out his mouth, girl, drop it to the floor. I love the way your booty go. So it's just magic that happens upon the moment. And as a producer, you got to understand how to capture the moment and direct the ship. You got to be the quarterback, know who to pass the ball to, and start the song. You know what I mean? And then even on the business side, Walker was like, man, I don't care what you do with this song. You know what I mean? But Gucci paid for the studio time. So I say, look, if this song blow up, I always told Walker, this is your song. So as a producer, just on the business, you got to keep business right. You got to do people right. Roscoe Dash was offering me $100,000 for that song. You know, Wale was trying to buy the song, his label, all of these other labels calling once the song started blowing up. And I kept it true to Walker, Brick Squad, Guwap. They know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the fun part for me, man, doing the right thing. And that's why people love me.
Big up, man. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Thank you so much. This was dope, man. This was really dope. This is like really dope information you dropped here.
Yes, sir.
Respect. All right. Bless up.
Yes, sir.